Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us. My name is Ian Blume, and I'm the BISCAP Program Coordinator. And I'm here with Adriana Madrinan, one of our expert consultants here at BISCAP, housed by the Florida SBDC at FIU. And we're going to talk about managing cash flow for your small business and the importance of it, some of the technicalities. And I also want to encourage you to feel free to put any questions in the chat. This webinar is recorded, and the attendees will receive the presentation. So in case you guys, life happens, the Wi-Fi is off, you guys need to receive a call, don't worry. In the following days, we'll be giving you the recordings and the PDF file, so you can review all of the material that you have here. Also, my colleague Asra will be sending important links here in the chat, so feel free to look for our YouTube channel, which is there, so you don't miss any of our past webinars that we go over a lot of the important materials for your small business. Once again, I want to thank Adriana Madrinan for being here with us and for sharing this time to see the importance of the managing cash flow. So here at the Florida SBDC at FIU, what you see on the screen is our team of consultants together with the admin, and we were recognized in 2023 the National SBDC of the Year. It's an achievement that we're very proud of, and we're really striving to continue that great effort this year and in the upcoming years too. A little bit more about this center. We are a research partner of the U.S. Small Business Administration, also known by its initials as the SBA. And we provide one-on-one business consulting, training, and information to small businesses here in Miami-Dade and in Monroe County. Since the center started back in 2014 all the way through 2022, these are some of our achievements that we managed to accomplish in the Miami-Dade County and in the Florida Keys. You can see there, for example, all close to 500 businesses launched, and also more than $400 million in increased revenues. So what is BISCAP? At our core, we want to, this center focuses on this one-on-one consulting, and we go on the, we want to meet businesses where they are in the community. And we do this by a process also called canvassing. What we do is, as you see on the screen, we go into these commercial corridors, we meet with the business owners, and we try to understand them and see how we can better assist them through the challenges that small businesses face in this ever-changing environment. Again, this is an initiative that is housed by the Florida SBDC at FIU and has run since 2016. And we're focused on hyperlocal consulting, training, and outreach to small businesses communities in these targeted communities and commercial corridors. The program is to meet businesses where they are. I'm going to talk more about the particular focus, the area of focus of our program, but since it's mostly centered in what is called the District 27, the Congressional District 27, but we also we have clients all over Miami-Dade, and if your business is outside that area, don't worry, we still have a lot of resources that can help you out. After all, we want to be seen as another tool in the toolkit for to assist your business either startup or enhance your growth. These are some of our outcomes that we managed to accomplish after our partnerships here in the Miami-Dade County. And all this is possible thanks to through a grant of the SBA of the U.S. Small Business Administration, which allows us to provide this consulting, these trainings, this outreach at no cost to the business owner. As I was talking earlier, our focus is in the Florida 27th Congressional District, which encompasses the city of Miami, Key Biscayne, Coral Gables, and runs down through Kendall and Cutler Bay. This is an important economic powerhouse because according to the 2019 census estimate, out of the 86,000 business establishments that resided in the Miami-Dade County, 33,000 reside here in the gray area that you see on the screen. Again, I want to be very clear with myself. If your business is not physically located located outside this District 27, don't worry, we still have consultants and other partners that can assist your business. And lastly, I want to go over the business objectives. And we are based in providing training and outreach and door-to-door canvassing, this one-on-one consulting and data mapping service to small business in the District 27, which will allow us to focus our strengths and really be more efficient at understanding the realities of being a small business owner. As you see here on the screen, our objective is to assist over 1,000 businesses from January through December of this year. And we're going to go about it by providing consulting, training, and workshops. So once again, thank you for being here. Thank you for being part of this organization. And thank you for also taking the time to seek out new opportunities and how to enhance your business growth. I want to give the floor to Adriana Madrinan, our expert consultant, which focuses on business strategy and also has a lot of knowledge about marketing and has an extensive background in assisting small businesses here in the region. Adriana, thank you so much.
Thank you, Ian.
Thank
you very much. Thank you, Ian. And thank you, Asra, for all your help today. And I want to say hello to all the group. I don't know I think only one name of the list of participants. But if you have been in trainings with me, please ask as many questions as you need. I'm here to help you. So don't be shy. So I'm going to share my own screen. Ian, we change? Okay. So I'm going to share my screen so we can start the presentation about cash flow. Sorry, this is not the view that I need. I'm very sorry. I'm so used to use Canva. Do you see my phone? Yeah, you see this. Ian, how can I share the whole screen? Sorry, I feel so bad.
So you go to share screen to the button. You were doing it right. I think it's just a particular button that you have to press within PowerPoint. There it is. So now you click on the go on the left. On
this
the left,
one.
you see a bit more to the left. So you can, yeah, the button on the right, that one. Yeah.
But do you see my full screen?
You have to swap the displays. So up to the left. Swap displays, I believe.
No.
Or it says the two arrows pointing in the opposite direction. Up to the left.
Don't worry, let's make it easy.
Okay.
Sorry, everybody. I barely use, for some reason, I barely use PowerPoint. So please excuse me because I forgot to practice this part. So while I accommodate my slides, one question to all of you. How many of you, please put in the chat if you use any cash flow tool? I want to know if you use a tool and what type of tool you use. I'm going to look in the chat.
We have a bit of everything, not yet.
And on the scale from 1 to 5, being 5 that you really feel strong about using, understanding your finances, how are you? Give me just an idea. Because the idea is to make it easy for you today. Don't worry.
I like the honesty, guys. I like the honesty. So there's a bit of everything. There's people that feel more confident and people that are still scratching their heads about it.
That's okay.
Good, because that's what we're here for.
Exactly. So I'm ready to share my screen.
Do you want me to share the screen and you?
Yes, Ian, because honestly,
got it.
I only use Canva. I haven't used PowerPoint in such a long time. So yeah, you will help me.
Thank you guys for your patience.
So thank you for the honesty, and I agree. And I think also one of the problems that we are not good with finance is because sometimes it's explained in a very complex way. So I'm going to try to make it as easy as possible for you today, because I'm a very graphic person. So I'm going to try to help you with that. So we will talk about cash flow, but more about not that much about the template of the cash flow report, but about how to manage the cash flow of your company, how to make those projections, and how to improve how you manage them and have a healthy company. Let's go to the next one. So we want to identify some ways in which you can improve your cash flow, and I'll also help you to learn the key terms. So it will be easy for all of you. And yes, as I said, some very technical ways to think about it and see it from a different perspective. Next slide. So I already asked you this question, how you feel, and I think we are at different stages. Some of you feel more expert, some of you are really starting, but don't feel bad. We will always learn, and this is a very, I think it's a presentation with a lot of probably ideas that are going to trigger the way you manage your cash flow more than a math and numbers and accounting presentation. Next slide. Okay, this is one of my favorite slides because I think one of the problems we have is we think of a business and it's a very etheric concept. It's very difficult to visualize. But I want you to keep this graph in your mind. So your business is whatever it is inside this orange oval. So you have customers, you have your value proposition, that is your offer. Maybe you are offering a product or a service, and then you have suppliers. So tell me, how many of you, just type on the chat, are you service or are you you offer products? I want to know. Let me know what you do. Like, I want to know Alejandro, Ana, Javier, Jennifer, Carla, what do you do? Both? 60-40, okay, mainly service. Okay, and what exactly do you offer? Just type, what is it? If it's a product, what type of product? So I can maybe give you more examples attached to what you do. Activewear for women, perfect. Educational and publishing product development, okay. General contracting, perfect. Marketing services. Okay. So we have a little bit of everything. Retails, scuba sales. Okay, perfect. Okay. So doesn't matter where, if you are a product or a service, this graph is exactly the same. The only difference is for service, probably you use suppliers, maybe to help you enhance the service, offer a better service, or even the technology you use maybe as suppliers, okay? So I want you to think that when you visualize your business like this, you see these arrows, one to the right and another one to the left. And here on the suppliers too, is because we create and we capture value from both clients and suppliers. So we, for instance, we produce, I noticed, let me use the example of Priscilla. She creates activewear for women, and she's offering one specific type of activewear for women. So her customers, when they like her products, she's creating value for them, but then she's capturing value from them. So Priscilla gets money every time she creates value for a customer. On the other side, also the same with suppliers. So they create value for us because we need either the pieces of materials in the case of Priscilla, or the design clothes if she's not producing them and she's buying them ready. And then she creates value for suppliers because she has to pay. If we are in service, like, let me see, the scuba training, maybe you offer the service, but you may be offering products too, but also the suppliers could be how you book, I don't know, a bus to transport the people, for instance, or a location. So those are suppliers. So the ones that give us either products or services that we need to develop our value proposition. So when we see our business in this way, it's easier to understand. But what happens, next slide, when I'm starting a business? So when I'm starting a business, the issue is I'm spending a lot. I'm buying all these new products. I'm maybe opening a store or setting up a website or doing something. And I'm spending a lot in this side, but I don't have money yet. Next slide. So usually that initial money will come either from equity. That means friends, family, or business partners that give you money for a percentage of your business. So they say, you know what, I give you this amount, and you would say, let me give you 10%, 5%, so a piece of my business. The other one is debt. That means I can borrow from family, friends, or a lending institution, such as a bank, but then I have to pay it back with an interest. I have to repay. They are like loans. So those are the two ways, if I don't have the money, how I can get funding for my business. Next slide. So if I look, you know, they tell us about balance sheet and it's super scary. Well, now with what I just showed you, imagine the same drawing that we saw just before on top of this one. So here are everything, of course, at the top is the cash, the money that I have, how much I have set on the account receivables. But all of these from opening expenses down, I don't know, Ian, if you can show from pre-opening expenses, accounting, advertising, all of that are expenses. Even the fixed assets, you know, if I have to buy a kitchen equipment, all of that. So that's where the money leaves the company. Where I get equity and debt is on the right-hand side. So the liabilities and the equity. So it's very clear. So that's why I gave you that graph first, because sometimes it's so difficult and so dry to see these numbers when I cannot think with a specific graph. Let's go to the next slide. So some notes about debt. I don't know where you come from. In Latin America, for instance, we are not used to work with debt. We were educated in a way that they were told, no, you don't owe anything to anybody. But also I see after being here for 27 years that the US, it has a blessing, is that really helps small business to grow. So I think the important is to really understand how to use that debt. So it's true, if you're starting a business, it's difficult to get a business loan. And when you are really at the beginning, you need to have a very strong business plan. There are some, I know we have other presentations, and Ian can share, we'll be able to provide in the link of all the presentations we have talked about different ways to get access to capital. There are some institutions like CDFIs that could help you earlier, because banking tends to happen after 2 years of having the business open. But definitely a business plan is key. You need to prove that your idea is good. Another important thing is your credit score. Of course, the higher your credit score, they consider you are a lower risk, and that will help. Also, be aware that different banks, as I say, have different criteria, from CDFIs to banks to different options out there. But you also have, doesn't matter who you get the loan or from, be aware that you need to sign that loan. And at the end, you will be held responsible to meet the financial obligations. So is given to the company, but you have to, either is your name or a collateral behind it that supports that loan. Next. Finally, really be careful with the credit cards. I know in starting a business, it's very common to use credit cards, and sometimes we need to do it. I'm also starting a business, even though I'm a consultant. And I know there are some times that I need to use some credit cards to use. My company is a product company. So, yeah, I am aware that to produce certain products, I need to use a credit card, but I need to be aware. Especially the cards related to business credit cards are usually the fees and the interest very high. So you have to be very careful how you use it. Next slide. So to understand the cash flow, we are going to see 3 different ways to look at it. The first is the cash conversion cycle. The second one is the cash flow diagram. And finally, the cash flow statement. So together, what happens is they give us a better view on how to do it. Next slide. So I'm noticing all the different businesses that I have in the group. Even though this one says business to business here and business to business, sorry, at the bottom, and business to consumer at the top. This is more to signify the type of cycle we have. Usually business to consumer, the cycle is very short. Because, for instance, I want to take a scuba course. I look for a couple of ideas. I consider which one I like the most, and I buy my course, okay, my training on scuba. But if I sell educational publishing products in the B2B, probably it's a longer cycle, because people may not need it right away. So that's why we say that we usually in those longer cycles, and this is more from the marketing perspective, but it's going to help us from the cash flow perspective. So usually we have to talk a lot and drip a lot of information until the company is aware that they need that. They decide, now I'm going to proceed and look for an educational publishing company and look for 2 offers, then consider which one I want and buy. But it's a longer cycle. Sometimes the business, it doesn't matter. Sometimes the business to consumer could be long. Like if I sell a car, or if I sell insurance, if I sell technology, for instance, anybody that is offering services for IT, usually it's a super long cycle, because it takes time for everything to happen. So to consume the product, to use the product, okay? Next slide. So this is the cash conversion cycle. So we make the product or service, that's at the bottom right. Then our business sells the product or service, and that's when the money comes in. And then the business pays the suppliers, the raw materials and the inputs, and that's how the money goes out. Then we produce again. So it's like a cycle. But here it says at the top, the trick is to know how long it will take to complete the cycle. Because if my cycle between the moment I produce, I sell, and I get paid is very long, it's going to affect my cash. And if the time that I have to use to pay my suppliers is very short, it will also affect my cash flow. Let's go to the next slide. So this slide is a little bit small, but I hope you can see it well. So I'm going to explain you all the ways that money comes into your business and money comes out of your business. So in this diagram, the cash flow is how it comes in. So it comes in, and wherever you see a little bulb is where the money is going out. You see the drippings and the bulbs. So if you look at the top right, the debt and the equity, that's where the money comes into your business when you are starting. That's what we just explained. Let's go to the next slide. Okay, the valves in this cash flow are every time the money comes out. So some valves are always open. So at the bottom, if you see sales tax, payroll, debt, they don't even have a valve because you see they're really open underneath the big tank, underneath accounts payable. Those three are always open because we always have to pay taxes. We always have to pay if we have employees. So they're always open. Money is always going out through there. Next slide. But some other bulbs I can, in a way, control, like the ones on the right of the tank, the big tank on the right of accounts payable. That is, you see that one, the top one that looks like a shower is how I pay myself a salary if I have enough money. And then the other ones are also ways, administrative, sales, that I can open and close. Okay, next slide. Also my inventory. The inventory is money sitting there. So when I sell, then I generate more cash. But if the inventory gets old or it reduces too much and people are trying to buy and I don't have, I'm losing opportunities. But that's the way I nurture my cash. That's the way I sell. In the case of services, of course, I don't have an inventory. I will have to, it's more, the time that I sell my services to nurture that cash. Next slide, sorry. So the fixed assets are here at the bottom in gray on the left-hand side. And they're usually things that I buy that are expensive. And even though I can depreciate with the time, that's the interrupted line, that tax-wise I can show that the value goes down, like when we buy our car, but are things that are not generating cash. The inventory was generating cash. It's something that I'm moving is going to convert into cash in the next year, but not the fixed assets, okay? Next line. So at the end, all the profit, once the company is organized, is this pump at the top left-hand side. That is how we sell and we move the whole machine. That is the cycle that I just showed you. We produce, we sell. So from the inventory, we make the products or we buy the products or we design the services. Then we sell them, and that's how we nurture our cash. Next slide. So two ways that sometimes my cash gets hold. So one is account receivables. So if you work, for instance, with business to business and business to consumers, probably you have seen that in many cases, business to business take longer to pay. For instance, in my case, I work for the university. So the university pays consultants after 30 days. So that means that even though I have already earned that money, I will get paid a month later. So depending on the company and how you sell, those account receivables could take 30, 60, or 90 days, depending who you work with. Another area where your money, next slide, your money can get hold or you can lose cash is how fast you have to pay your accounts payables. That are those bricks that are on the big tank of cash. The reason is, if, for example, I am buying supplies, but I need to pay immediately in cash, but my clients are paying in 30 days, then it's difficult to balance all that cash because I have to pay in one side, but I haven't received my cash in the other side. So account receivables and account payables are really not only the valves that we can open and close, as we said at the beginning, for certain ways the money goes out, but also two areas that we really need to pay attention for our cash. Next slide. So the secret, as I say, is we want customers to pay as quickly as possible, so cash in, and you want to pay vendors as low as possible. That's cash out. So that's the second way. We saw the cash flow, and this is the cash diagram. Let's go to the next slide. Yeah, as I mentioned, I already mentioned it in the previous one. When we generate access of cash, you see in the big tank, you can pay this ECFPO that you can see in the graph. Is how you pay, that's called excess cash flow from profitable operations. When that water is up, you see the cash, we have enough, then I can pay my paychecks. And we already took out depreciation at the bottom. Okay, next slide. So whatever decision you take with your cash is really gonna affect you. So I want you to, once you get this presentation, really think how many of these buckets you manage and how careful are you into paying attention what is happening with each of those buckets. Next slide. So what not to do? Definitely not postpone taxes. You will get interest on that. Never hire for loan officers because they can help you get an advice, but also you can always find ways. We sometimes even get clients that had issues with payments on for instance, the CDFI, so we can help them generate more cash. So there's always a good way to talk. There is always people that understand when things happen. Of course, the idea is that you pay your loan officers on time, but do not hide from them. Do not pay vendors late, because if they cut your supply, you can really be in a big issue. Do not overestimate revenue. Sometimes we forget that from that sales that I make, revenue or sales, I will get deducted taxes and other fixed costs. So we have to be careful, and also don't underestimate cost. Next slide. So to negotiate better terms, and remember the graph that I showed you before, we want to manage on the right-hand side with the customers, the cash flow. We want customers to pay ideally right away so we can use the cash to meet our financial obligations. On the left-hand side with the suppliers, we want to pay our vendors as late as possible. So to negotiate, usually when the business is starting, we have to pay cash because they don't trust us yet. But that's something we will learn in a minute, how we can build. Next slide. So let's think of ideas to negotiate. And if in addition to these ones you have more, please put it in the chat, okay? So with customers, we could encourage cash payments to maximize profitability. For instance, it's better for people to pay us with Cele than to pay it with a credit card, because Cele doesn't have fees, even though you have to then pay the taxes and count the taxes, but you don't have the fees of the credit and the debit card. So certain payment methods nowadays have a lot of ways that they look like cash, but even when people are not carrying cash. It's always important to highlight to customers, even though it's not always easy to pay in cash, to emphasize the business for both sides. However, that also depends on the amount that they're paying. Consider limitation of accepting cards for smaller transactions. So maybe you can say, you know, under this amount is okay, is not okay. You have to pay cash. There is always the concept of the gift cards strategies. Introduce gift cards, emphasize, so because you get the money now, even though they're going to use it later. You can even, in that concept, it could be a subscription that I pay ahead of the month and people are going to use it during the month. So for corporate account management, you can use also corporate accounts and motivate them to pay you sooner. There is a figure that is called 210, that is that if they pay in 10 days instead of 30 days, you will give them 2% discount. So trying to offering flexible payments for those that have policies that pay later is worth it trying, so they pay you sooner. Next slide. The same that we negotiate with clients, we should negotiate with suppliers. Initially, it will be difficult that they allow you to pay 30 days because they don't trust you, but keep a good track record. So you start building trust and credibility with them. So then you can really negotiate and show that even if you pay 30 days, they're going to receive the money. Also, when you have the chance that people to send you an invoice, or you send, the supplier send you an invoice, then you have a little more room to negotiate, to pay. And all of this is about conversations. They are as interested as keeping you as clients as you as to remain with those good suppliers. So it's always important to negotiate with them. Next slide. Also the landlords. I want you to think of something. Sometimes businesses, we get paid the same every month. So let's say I'm doing a big projects in marketing and I decide that my client is going to pay me $1,000 every month. So I'm receiving that monthly. But not, that's an example. Let's say I have 3 clients and they have been with me with long time, and within my 3 clients in marketing, I receive $5,000 a month and I can play with it. So I know exactly what I'm getting. But that's not the case with other businesses. For instance, if I could have businesses that have seasonality. So one case, for instance, is when I sell the universities. So universities close during the summer. If I sell swimsuits, it's the same. I don't know if the scuba, I don't know, because Florida has a very weird seasonality, because in the winter where nobody will be selling, we are more crowded than ever, but I don't know if the water is too cold to do a scuba, which will generate a seasoning there. So sometimes when we have business with seasonalities, we have to work very hard, for instance, to pay, okay. You have so the scuba, you have a seasonal market. Okay, that's good to know. So sometimes it's important to learn how to negotiate with the landlords. Maybe you have a store, maybe you have a warehouse. So it is very important to understand, first of all, very well the lease terms and understand how much you're going to pay monthly. If you can, from the contract, if you have a business with seasonality, try to negotiate from the beginning when you are doing the contract. You can always discuss also potential risk with whoever is you are doing the contract of the lease, and discuss options like sublease, exclusivity, co-tenancy. For instance, nowadays is becoming a trend for restaurants that they can sublease part of the kitchen. So even though you go to a restaurant, in the kitchen, there is more than one business working. So that's a way to lower cost. For risk mitigation, also you can negotiate the lease agreement. probably you need help with the legal advice, but also you can also negotiate. Let's say you know that every year you are very busy and very profitable from January to May or June, and then August till November. So you can negotiate with your landlord and say, listen, let's divide all my payments. So I pay, instead of paying you 12 months of the year, I pay you 10. So I pay a little bit more every month, but I don't pay during my months that I'm in low seasonality. So there are many ways to, and what I want you to take from this presentation is think how you take care of your cash. Think how you can negotiate. That's why I gave you the first graph. How could I make that clients pay me sooner and that I pay later to suppliers, or I organize in a way that when my cash is moving in and out, when the moments my bucket is depleted, then I can negotiate better. There are many things, and why we need to be creative, because there are many reasons we may be or may not be able to get a loan. So depending your legal status, how long have you been in business, maybe that's not allowing you to do business, to get a loan, sorry, but you can always do a business. And we manage very successful business at the BizGap and the SBGC from all types of backgrounds and sources. So if you feel you need help with those negotiation tips, always reach us and we will help you with more ideas. Next slide. So yes, as I was saying, it's always professional to ask for help. We are here to help, and there are many experts, also your accountants. There is also the legal clinic at FIU that can help you with legal things at no cost. As Ian explained, with BizGap, we are paid by the government, so we have the blessing to offer help for small business owners at no cost for the business owner. And it's always good to discuss with someone. There are many clients that I have that they say, I just want to discuss ideas with you. So make sure that if you feel your cash, you're making money, but it's not flowing the right way, we can always help and also discuss ideas with other professionals you trust. Next slide. So key points to remember for this presentation. Managing cash flow is key. So in order to be successful, you need to manage your cash flow. Learn to make a balance sheet, the one that I show you, that were like more the money was what you were using, and also the liabilities and the equity on the right, and their expenses of the left. Then the cash flow, I didn't show you a cash flow, but the cash flow tells me how much cash is going, yeah, the cash flow, we saw how is that part that we sell. I make the product or the service, I sell, then I pay my supplier. So it was that little triangle. So always pay attention how long it is that cycle and how can you improve that cycle. Plan for fluctuations from seasonality or any other change ahead of time. Try to maintain, as I say, the cycle of cash. Manage your paperwork. There are many courses online, free courses, and different ways. Even if you watch a little video every day about your finance, it's going to help you to get more confident. It's not difficult. Try to make a drawing if you find it difficult, and you will see that it's just that the numbers look scary, but when you see it in a graph, it's a very simple thing. Always ask your accountant for advice. Next. Questions. Let me know if you have questions. Did this give you ideas on how to manage your cash flow? Any other ideas I'm not saying here?
In the meantime, while we wait for you guys to type out the questions, I know it's been a lot, and I want to, really emphasize that don't be afraid. It helps, as Adriana said, and I want to also reinforce her idea about being visual. and don't be afraid of the numbers. It might seem scary at times, but well, I see some questions popping out in the chat, so I'm gonna leave time for your Adriana to address those.
Thank you. So the question is, in the process of starting a business, which one should be the first to acquire, an LLC or an EIN? So so there are two things. When you start a business, one is the legal side and the other one is the tax side. So even though we talk about an LLC, for instance, you always need to clarify that's your legal, how you're constituted legally. How your business is defined legally, but you need also to define how you're gonna work with the taxes. So the first thing you do is you open your business in the format that you decide. There are many. There are LLCs, small S corporation, that is a small business corporations. So, but once you define what you are legally, then the next step, and you will receive, once you have your information, you can apply, you will be able to apply for your EIN number. But you have to establish your legal name. It's like, once you get, your official name, then you can go and decide how you're going to pay your taxes. So yes, that first, the LLC first, and then the EIN. That I honestly, if you can, definitely all the fees and all the charges that you get with accountants, yes, you can put it in your financial statements. And if you do it, I'm not sure if in the opening cash flow statement, but I guess you can. Anything you use, you can report it. But in my advice, talk to an accountant. Remember, I'm a consultant on business growth, business strategy, and innovation. So if it's so specific accounting, but I think you should be able.
And Alejandro, thank you for your question. We do have a list of accountants that can provide you assistance. So I'm gonna put my email and the assistant director email. His name is Jesus Padilla. So you can, reach out to me, and I can send you also that list. Regardless, I'm also going to be sending all the registrants of this webinar a business plan template, so you can, base your business off of it. It's not meant to be copied literally, of course, but a bit more specific to your question about should I, open a C corp, an S corp, a sole proprietorship? Should I be an LLC? We have a consultant whose name is Gabriel, who is specifies
Excellent.
in that regard. So just I'm gonna put you in contact with him. I don't know if you have already been consulted by him or other of our consultants. Are the consultants lawyers? No, that's a very good question, Carla. So there are two things that we at the Florida SBDC do not provide, is legal assistance and accounting. But in that case too, I can send you a list of potential lawyers that partner with us, and so they can assist your businesses too. All right.
So I'm going to say something. If you're going to start a business, I really recommend you talk with Gabriel. He can really help you. He has helped me with a lot of my clients, and it's amazing. So if you have doubts about how to initiate your business, please take the information that Ian is offering you. If you definitely only need legal assistance, FIU also has legal assistance. I'm going to put the name of the legal clinic, so you can, sorry, his name is John Little. I didn't type it right, but it's John Little. So you can always reach the FIU legal clinic. Like everything at the university, they don't work during the summer. But if Carla, if that's a useful data for you in contact, please use it, okay?
Right. I'm taking note of this. Alejandro, I will send you an email after we're done with the webinar. I'm also gonna leave more information about us here in the slide. So I'm gonna be reaching back to you with that specific information, and to the rest of the participants, they will be receiving also this information plus the business plan plus the link to the recorded webinar. Also, I encourage all of you to go ahead and subscribe to our YouTube channel where we have similar events. Going over different important business topics such as access to capital or marketing there with other of our consultants. In case you have additional questions, feel free to reach out to us uh, through our emails, which we've already put in the chat. And I'm gonna do this just one more time, just in case.
And anything you need from the strategy of really understanding who are your clients, to really understanding if your market is there, to put a business model or a business plan, or know better how to manage your finance or access to capital. If you need guidance, remember, we only do consulting, but we are a group of amazing, really, really a good group of consultants that we are here to help you.
Exactly. We're here for you guys, and any way that we can assist you will be more than a pleasure. You can also call us at the number that you see on the screen. And lastly, if you have not already, I encourage you to request a meeting with one of our experts, business consultants, such as Adriana. And so, we can see the different ways to assist your business startup or business growth. Yes, Carla, I see you have a question. Let's see. Of course, Jennifer, a pleasure. And thank you for joining us today. Thank you, Priscilla. Thank you, Alejandro. Of course, Javier, pleasure seeing you again.
So Carla, if your business is, so the BizGap is, as you know, it is like, it works hand in hand with the SBDC, but if your business is registered in Delaware, then the people that can help you is the SBDC in Delaware. So we are divided by areas, so we can only attend the businesses that were registered within that area. So the SBDC at FIU, it only covers Miami-Dade and BizGap too. So if you have your business registered in Delaware, that's where you should get help, or register, also the business in Florida.
And Carla, I just put in the chat a link where you can find your local SBDC. If you go there, you can based on your zip code, it'll be possible for the system to locate your nearest SBDC office. Of course, no problem. That's what we're here for, Carla. And yes, since we base our services mostly on where the business is located on SunBiz, it's important for geographic locations needs, because as Adriana said, we operate at a regional level. And with that, I don't know if you guys have any more questions. If you, Adriana, want to add something else, just some closing words.
No, thank you, everybody. Really, we're here to help you. I've seen businesses that started with us and they have grown immensely. I wish when I started my consulting business, I knew these services. It's a pleasure for all of us to help you. So anything, don't doubt to reach us, and we will be happy to have an appointment with you and guide you in whatever you need.
Exactly. Well, thank you so much. Don't miss out on the upcoming webinars that you can find on the link that I set out here. So you can learn more about wherever you are. You can learn more about the different ways, the different challenges, and how to overcome them for being an entrepreneur. So with that, I want to thank you all. Again, you will be receiving this webinar's information. So be on the lookout in your email inbox, and we'll be more than happy to help you out if you are already, or if not, in the future. And with that, I wish you guys a very great day, great start of the week, and hope to see you soon.
Thank you.
All right, guys, take care. Bye, Adriana. Thank you so much.
Bye. Thank you so much.